Personal finance presentation using OneNote. Home loan borrowing limit. Prepare to get financially fit by practicing personal finance. Here we are in OneNote. If you have access to OneNote, would like to follow along, you're not required to, but if would like to, we're in the icon on the left-hand side. We're in the Practice Problems tab, down in the 5110 Home Loan Borrowing Limit tab. Also note, when using OneNote, take a look at the Immersive Reader tool. Our presentations will also be in the text area with the same name, same number, but with transcripts. Transcripts that can be translated into multiple different languages and either listened to or read in them. Closing the icon, we got the information up top, calculations then on down below. We're looking at the home loan borrowing limit. So the information on the left and up top says we're going to say we purchased the home for $235,000 at some time in the past. Note that when you purchase the home, then that amount that you paid is in essence the market value, of course, at that point in time, because you are participating and a market transaction has happened at that point between two individuals that typically have interests that are counter to each other, right? So we had a negotiation take place, market took place. But in the future, we're now saying that the value is $410,000. So that's going to be the first kind of issue that you want to take into consideration when you're looking at this kind of scenario and you're thinking about possibly getting a loan against the home. Is then you have to think, well, what's the value of the home right now? And that's not an easy question given the fact that each home is unique, unlike if we're talking about other types of assets such as stocks, which they are all the same. The stocks are all the same. And so even if I'm not selling my stocks right now, other people are selling their stocks. Their stocks are just like my stocks. And therefore, by me determining the market price of their stocks, which they're currently selling, I can get a pretty accurate determination of what my stocks are worth. Not the same for homes. Even if homes are selling in your particular area and all the homes are similar in design, they're still unique in nature. And therefore, it could be a lot more difficult to come up with what the appraisal is on the home. You got to appraise it. You got to guess in some way. And so that's one of the problems. And of course, you got to have an appraisal that the institution, the financial institution such as the bank, agrees with if they're going to take that number and use it to support back up the loan that would be made. We're going to say that the current loan balance stands at $185,000. So a loan was taken out when the home was originally purchased. We're going to say that the balance on that is currently at the $185,000. And then we're going to assume that you can borrow up to the 75% of the value of the home. Now, this, of course, is a rule from the financial institution side of things that could change from institution to institution, and on particular circumstances, other circumstances may be in relation, and it could change over time. So we've had some points in history where basically the banks were giving 100% loan of the home, which seems awfully risky, but that's the environment that we're in. The implicit assumption, if that were the case, which I think is wrong, it's always been wrong, is that the home is going to go up in value perpetually, forever, that the homes never decline in value. We see that that's not the case. Hopefully it'll go up, but we have had declines in the home values and bubbles and whatnot. So you would think that if the bank is using the home as collateral, they don't want to take over the home. They're not in the business of selling homes. They're in the business of giving loans. So what they would like to do is set up a situation where they are likely to get paid. And that situation would typically mean that they want you to be somewhat invested in the home. And so we're going to say 75%, meaning you have an amount that you have personally put into the home over and above the loan amount, so that you're invested, you're kind of locked in, you're committed to the home in that way. And that gives them some kind of assurance of, one, your commitment, and two, if there was a decline in the value of the home, it can go down fairly substantially given it's a fairly large dollar amount before the home is worth less than the loan value. If the home is worth less than the loan value, then you're no longer totally committed to it, because now the loan is possibly higher than the home value, and even if you left or something like that, and they were to pick it up, even if they foreclosed on it, then they wouldn't be able to sell the home, which means they'd have to go through the cost of selling it, which they don't want to do, and it wouldn't be enough to cover the loan anyways. So that's why they want to avoid that. That's why you would expect them to have some kind of rule that you can't finance the against the home up to a certain point or past a certain point. You can't finance 100% of the home generally. One, because it's an estimate. We don't even know what the home is really worth. And two, because you're not going to be committed to it as much because you're not personally as invested in the process. And three, because if they did sell the home, then they might not be able to cover their costs for it, even though it's down as collateral. So in this instance, then the question, of course, would be, well, how much else could I borrow? Also keep into consideration tax impacts that could be involved in this. That we're not talking, other factors could be involved as well in terms of whether or not you would qualify for a loan and what kind of loans you'd qualify and so on. But, and we're going to say, okay, how much more could we invest or could we borrow? So we got the current value, and you also want to know what exactly could you use the funds of the loan for, possibly with relation to taxes as well. Do I have to invest it in the home? Can I use it for basically other things? You want to make sure that you're on top of, that kind of question as well. Okay, so how much more could we get? Well, if we have the 410 and we agree with the bank agrees with us that that's going to be the current value of the home that we have an appraisal for, and we're going to take 75% of that, pulling out the trusty calculator, 410,000 times 0.75 is going to give us 307 total amount of the loans that we can have against the home, using the home as collateral then. And we currently have then 185 that is currently out there as a loan. So we're going to take that 307.5 minus the 185,000, and that would mean that generally you can take the additional 122.5. So this is just kind of like a starting point in terms of when you're thinking about, how much possibly you could take against the home. And then, of course, you want to take into account all other factors that would be involved in this as well, including tax implications. What can I use the loan for? Other financing requirements that you might need for particular institutions.